People, Arsenal 2, Watford nil, and yeah, on one hand, it was not a great performance. It's a tough to watch from Arsenal fans. I mean, it wasn't necessarily the worst performance I've ever seen or even seen this season, but there was many negatives, more negatives than there probably were in positives. Pardon me, apologies, people. But on the flip side of things, the pundits for other teams say, oh, the mark of a true team is when they're not playing well and they still get 3 points. We know there's many things wrong with Arsenal. We know we're not title material, but winning games is what we need to do to get closer to what we need to do, and we won ugly today. One person I'm happy for is Iwobi. Now, there's going to be a lot of people in hindsight, not that he's proven every critic wrong, proven every doubt held over the man wrong, or is even the finished product. But one person I'm happy for is Iwobi. He's got a long way to go. He's still not the finished article, like I said. But you saw him come off the bench against Watford today. And let's not go OTT, weren't amazing, but he changed the game. He did exactly what he was probably told by Unai Emery and the rest of the coaching staff in regards to get on the ball, make things happen, provoke challenges, provoke people out of position, provoke goal scoring opportunities, to which he obviously did. If I look back, I'm so sure he's involved in both of the goals. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but he was definitely involved in one of the goals. And I'm happy to see it, man. I'm happy to see him confident, believing he can take a person on, believing he can make that pass. Even obviously the game was won, and when it's Arsenal and the game is won and the fans are chanting, all the players get gassed and do certain things. But it's nice to even see him hit step overs. It's not even just today, because I mean, it's not just on the back of the day. He's been in a good bit of form, and he's one of the players. He got a new deal. Many people questioned it. He needs to prove his potential, because there is potential there. I told you, lot. You even saw the vid. It's titled. Go and type in Deluded Guna. It would be foolish to write off Alexander Iwobi, because like he's not finished, or Alex Iwobi, sorry. He's not. There's real potential in the lad. I've said he's a central midfield player, whether that's a cam or in deep or further deeper in time to come, and as he grows with age, because he can play on the wing. You saw his best performances this year have come off the left wing. But for me, he's better when he's got the freedom to go on the flanks, make things happen, come centrally and get cute little passes. Because one thing he's very good at is playing under pressure. He's very good in games where there's not much space and stuff like that. And if you look at the Ramsey role, Ramsey's been got this year, as even if he got today against Watford. Iwobi can thrive in that when there's creativity to get forward, to provoke things. The only issue I have a problem with Iwobi now is obviously he's started the season well in terms of performances, and he's got a goal and an assist in the Premier League. But it's now a case of, for me, maintain, as much as I like him and I love him as a footballer and I want him to stay at Arsenal to his finish as a footballer. When he's one of them players, when they get tired, the standards drop. I even think today he even was sloppy in some incidences and looked a bit lethargic at times as well. But he made things happen today. And even if we look at his stats quickly via transfer marked, I hope I've said it right, in 5 appearances in all comps this year, he's got a goal and 2 assists. Obviously, you want him to improve on that. The goal and the assist coming in the goal coming in the Premier League, and both assists one coming in the Prem and one in Europa League action. But even if we just look at last year, 17-18, he's on the right track, because I mean he just needs to score 2 more and he's already equalled what he managed to put in the back of the net last year in 3 goals. Assists, he needs to improve that, because he's got 7 assists, 5 in the Premier League and 2 in Europa League action. But yeah, man, 22 years of age, turning 23 next year, we could have a good player on the hands, man, especially if Ramsey does leave. I do believe Iwobi has to be considered as a central midfield player, purely because if you're looking at the Arsenal squad on a general basis, you're not saying Iwobi as a central midfield player, central midfield options. And Iwobi would have to learn to work in a pivot and things like that, which I think he can do with time, and he probably can more than I think he can at this moment in time, because I don't work with him. But central midfield players, you're saying Guendouzi, you're saying Torreira, you're saying Xhaka, Aaron Ramsey currently, probably Mesut Ozil, even though he's probably considered as a 10 or wide option now. Probably to a degree Mkhitaryan, but they're not really considered. Ozil, neither Mkhitaryan are considered that. So there's about 4 or 5 El Nene I'm forgetting. I believe Iwobi needs to be counted in that, to be fair with you. Obviously, I'm not saying he needs to be exclusively played in central midfield. He can be played on the flanks, which he needs to get games on the flanks. But for me, definitely, even if not central midfield, because I don't want you to focus on the pivot, which would be Torreira and Guendouzi, or Guendouzi and Xhaka, or Torreira and Xhaka. that 10 role, if it's not necessarily a 10 role, you don't want to call it that. That freedom role that Ramsey's been doing this year, that Ramsey allegedly is not actually happy with. You'd think he'd be cool with the shackles off him now, where he can mix it up and drop deeper and help our midfielders and make them late runs and stuff. I feel you've got to consider a role being that sort of role, to be fair with you, because that's where he thrives. He's not the finished article and things, and again, we can't draw too many conclusions, because you guys know I'm not big on conclusions. I feel a lot of conclusions on a general basis are being made already in September, turning in October, when the league finishes in May. A week is a long time in football, so if you can imagine however many months. So yeah, man, shout out to Iwobi. Like I said, we don't need to go OTT, but just on the basis of changing the game, when he's got his chances, he's taking them this year. That's not to say he's playing spectacular, but yeah, guys, DG, I'm out, man. Thank you for watching. I'm rocking.